stuff here.
Should I have this buttoned or unbuttoned?
Buttoned. I have mine buttoned.
Popping the tie up.
I'll pop my tie in too. Test. 1, 2, 3.
We're talking. Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another production from Hawk Sports TV here from the Dale Mabry campus as we get ready for the Hillsborough Hawks to take on the Polk State College Eagles, getting ready for another night of basketball. I am Brandon Scott, joined as always by my partner in commentary here on the Hawks sideline, Mr. Ben Silly. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself? How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I don't have any complaints. I'm ready for another game. You know, you and I, when we got together, started sitting down kind of watching the practices, and it is definitely a much different practice than what we have seen last week out of both teams.
Yeah, you know, what we saw last week against the Santa Fe Saints. Now, the Hawks didn't come out firing. It was a very close game in the first half. Then, unfortunately, the Hawks started slipping away a little bit. We started seeing the Saints pull away from that game. Ultimately, Santa Fe won that game. Now, what we saw in pregame of that game was the Santa Fe Saints were really focused on those passing drills. Not necessarily focused on where the ball was going in the basket, but where the passes were going to their teammates. They wanted to rely on their teammates to make those plays. What we saw out of the Hawks, however, was they were more focused on where they were at on the court. Are they on offense? Are they on defense? In man or zone? Where was that ball going to go and ultimately land up in the basket? I think we're going to see a little bit of change tonight. Number one, the Saints. They're coming in at 4-15, a losing record of 13 games here. I beg your pardon, the Polk State Eagles coming in with a losing streak of 13. So they are kind of in a little bit of a jumble. Now, as for the Hawks, they're coming in at 10-9, a losing streak of 3. So both of these teams kind of in a little bit of a funk, Brandon. I think what we're going to see tonight is we're going to see a little bit of change of pace. We talk about how we need to look at the flow of the game for certain on offense and defense. For the Polk State Eagles, I think what they need to do is from what we've seen in pregame, they're going to be focused on offensive side of the ball and where these passes are going towards the middle of the basket. For the Hawks, we're going to look at the defense. Are they in man? Are they in zone? Are they crowding the basket underneath to try and take away those opportunities? Or are they going to try and take away the opportunities for outside passes and three-pointer shots? Those two things I think are going to be key to this game. And if all goes well, we're going to hopefully see a very tightly contested game coming up in the Hawks' favor.
So when I'm taking a look now with we were discussing the pregame. We're talking about how they're warming up. One thing I have noticed, the Hawks are much louder tonight.
Yes.
Last week when they came in, we even talked about how they were just real quiet coming onto the court. They weren't really engaging with anything. It was more like just learning the schematic of it. Tonight, though, they're replicating what they have going on the other side of the court. They're louder. They're making noise. They're doing the things that I think from last time was not there as they were trying to get the warm-up. As we come up on 1 minute now before tip-off.
Yeah, Brandon, you're absolutely right. We're seeing a little bit of different change of pace just in pregame warm-ups. I just talked about it. We're going to try and see, hopefully, if these offenses and defenses are going to come alive. Now, from a statistics standpoint, the Polk State Eagles are coming in at 80 points per game. However, they're giving up 83 points. So that 4-15 record could easily be 15-4 had they not given up those extra 3 points. As for the Hawks, they're averaging 84 points per game. So if all goes right, we should see an 84-80 victory here for the Hillsborough Hawks. But again, we're going to get more into free throws and three-pointers later on in this first quarter as we start to see them going on here in this game.
I'm going to go with that. If I think the Hawks want to pull this one out to get that victory back that they lost last week, they're going to have to work on controlling the emotion. They don't want to draw the fouls. Last week they gave up 9 points to free throws. Those are points that are just giveaways for being just a little too anxious on the court.
Yeah.
I think that if they can control the free throws and they can isolate to the outside like they've been known to do between their man offenses or defenses, between their zone and the way they're fluidly shifting, that's going to be, if they can keep them to the outside and not draw the fouls, I think we're going to see a much different Hawks team tonight.
Yeah, if they play fundamental basketball tonight, they are going to come out with this win, no doubt. We talked about it before we were on air today. The Hawks, whenever stuff goes wrong, they always get into this little frenzy. They feel like they have to score points. Now, they have every right to feel that way, but when things aren't going your way, you have to be able to go back to the fundamentals of basketball. Whatever your first coaches taught you whenever you first started playing basketball, that as an individual player is what you should go to when things aren't going your way. And when it comes to these points being scored, averaging 84 for the Hawks and 80 for the Polk State Eagles, it's something we're going to have to watch tonight.
And here as we get ready for the tip-off, looks like we're going to have number 10, Wild Korea, lined up against number 14, Marquis de Silvio Romeo. So this and it's, number 24, Mr. Jimmy Cammy. So we get ready for the tip-off.
Nice.
Comes down in favor of the Hawks, and now they're going to begin with their first offensive drive. Now we're seeing right off of the bat here, the first thing I'm really seeing, they're trusting their teammate. Look at that no look over the shoulder, going right in, trusting his teammate to be where he was supposed to be.
I was just going to say, they are just looking so much more patient now, going back to those fundamentals, being able to play the game of basketball at your will.
And that's one of those important things is, we mentioned it during the pre-show, trusting where your partner is supposed to be. We likened it almost to going onto a dance floor where you know the routine, but your partner's a step or two behind you. You can't do that, especially with a team that's putting up 80 points a game.
Yeah, you got to be able to keep up, Brandon. You got to be able to try and keep up with your opponents, because if you fall one step behind, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Oh, there's a foul there.
Looks like we're going to have our first free throw attempt of the game. And this was something that you and I were talking about during the pre-show, that, we don't want to draw them, but if they're drawing on the Hawks, hopefully we can put some points up like we did last week.
Yeah, this is John Trulin, sophomore, 6'3", out of Cambridge, Minnesota, taking the free throw there. So he puts one in the basket. The Hawks this year are averaging 13.7 out of 20 free throws per game. That's about 68.4%, so a respectable number when it comes to free throws. And he nails the first two there.
And there is 2 for 2 right there.
Looks like we get a third one, Brandon. How about this? Potentially? What's going on here?
It almost looks like they're examining the net. Maybe they feel that the net is out of position, or... And yes, it looks like there will be.
Is this a do-over?
Or is this here? Nope, that was 3 for 3.
Wow.
Bringing us now to a 5-3 game off of those free throws there. So now here we can really see kind of what the Hawks do best about the inside, and they're forcing them to the outside so that they have to take the shot. And when you're forced them to take the shots, you know that there's a chance that they could put a 3 up like that, but you gotta force them to actually also miss those shots, because if they're if they're shooting and missing, you can at least come back from that kind of deficit than giving up 2 inside every time.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. When you get inside, when you get inside that underneath the basket, you got to be able to try and execute those throws. Now, what we've seen early on is the Hills, both teams really, executing those throws. Now, at the same time, you got to wonder, what are these defensive schemes going to look like? And right now, early on, we're seeing a lot of man, Brandon.
Hard drive in right there. Now up to 8-5. Now, one of the things that, shot from far outside, just out, comes back in underneath, good pass underneath, fighting underneath, goes up for 2, comes down with the rebound. Number 10 there, fighting, trying to get his way to the goal there, Wild Correa. And it looks like he will be going to the line now for his first attempts of the evening.
This is Wild Correa, freshman 6'7", out of Riverview, Florida.
I believe we called him out for a little bit of a shout out last week coming out.
We did. We were wanting him to perform really well with two guys out of Riverview, Florida. We wanted him to perform well, and he really did. He was up and down the court all the entire game. Unfortunate that they couldn't get that win. But I think we're going to see a little bit of different things tonight from Wild.
There we go. So he is 1 for 2 on the evening from the free throw line. A little bit of this. Now, I will say I am kind of surprised that I haven't seen number 2, Chandler Davis, getting his hands on the ball very much so far early. Because he was last week, he was all over the court. He was on the offense, he was on the defense. Number 4 now, Mr. Nicholas Womack, beginning his way, looking for something to envelop right now. Taking it back to the outside. And one thing that I'm looking at is the clock management. They're really working at getting the clock to kind of run and go as they're taking time, just trying to whittle it down just a little bit to make sure. All right, and good evening and welcome everybody to another production of Hawk Sports live from the Dale Mabry campus. If you tuned in shortly or just at tip-off, we apologize for that slight technical difficulty that we experienced. One of us here at the table didn't know what the on switch did, so we had to work our way around that for a little while. Joined, of course, Brandon Scott with Mr. Ben Tilley as we're getting ready, and we were just talking about number 2 working to the inside, and again, looks like we're going to have a chance for Wild Correa to head back to the free throw line for the second time this evening, as he's 1 and 2 on his attempts.
Yeah, Wild Correa, again, I can't say this enough, out of Riverview, Florida, we saw it last week, Wild up and down the court for the Hillsborough Hawks. Couldn't get that win against Santa Fe, though. He tried everything to get up and down the court. He misses a free throw there. But again, what we've been seeing so far tonight against Polk State Eagles, it's been a lot of patience, a lot of communication, a lot of offense, a lot of defense. Basically a mix between everything as Wild nails that one, Brandon.
So 2 for 4 on the night. And already kind of taking a look at the way that the Hawks are performing compared to where we were last week, you're seeing them be much more in control of how they're trying to do with their shots. We talked about they're working on the clock management, taking the shot clock way down, waiting for the right opportunity to present itself out there for their shots.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to be patient when opportunities come. You got to be able to have the knowledge and the experience that all of these players really have. You got to be able to have that knowledge to know when to take those shots, and we've seen it here early as it's 13-9 Polk State right now, favor of the Eagles. We've seen it already, as there's a nice basket there, Brandon.
That was Isaiah McCray driving hard down into the lane, number 5 from Polk State College, and I think we're about 5 minutes in to the first half here. And I think that we're starting to get to the end of the feeling out period.
Yep.
I think we've kind of tested each other. Each team's tested each other on the outside, and now we're really starting to pick up the pace and really starting to get going as another 2 goes up, bringing it 15-11 for the Eagles. And this is, even from what we've seen at the start of this game, this is a much faster pace than the Hawks were playing last week.
Yeah, they've toned it down. They really have. And I say tone it down only because they figured out how to play the game this week. They're toning it up when it comes to pace, but they finally figured something out with their game on how to attack these Polk State Eagles. And, so far they're only down by 4, but they're showing a lot of fight so far, Brandon, now only down by 7.
And with that, I believe that one was number 5 that went in, Isaiah McCray, who we've talked about him a couple times. And watching this across, one of the things as a three-pointer goes up from Mr. Nicholas Womack and comes in clean in the net, cutting that score to now a 3-point game. And one of the things that stands out to me is I'm watching Coach Coleman on the sideline here, and even now in the first few minutes of this game, I've seen a lot more action and a lot more just kind of emphasis from him. And that was something we talked about during the pregame show when we had that technical error, that we were wondering, when you go in, you have a six-game winning streak, and it looks like we have our first time out. So we're going to get ready, and we're going to send it over to our sideline correspondent, Mr. Vincent, and we'll go ahead. You guys take it away there.
Take it away, Vince.
My name is Vince Vibes. I'm happy to be here, happy to be in this environment. So far, this game started off hot, but like Ben Tilley was saying, that they kind of figured each other out. They're kind of slowing down a little bit. But here's the thing about Polk County, is that they're averaging about 80 points a game, but they're letting up about 83 points a game. Somebody called Joe Burrow because they're feeling like the Cincinnati Bengals. If Hillsborough County continues to score, they'll win the game. But we got to be putting up some better defense, because right now we're kind of struggling. As you can see here, it's 19-14 at this timeout. What I've seen from number 20 on the Hillsborough College team, he's putting his all and he's doing what he can. He's got a couple good free throws, a couple good rebounds, and he's trying his hardest there. I think everyone's trying their hardest to win this game. Both teams are kind of in a rut. Both teams are in a little bit of a losing streak. Both teams want the victory here, and you can tell. Back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
Fantastic sideline report. Thank you for that. And I'm glad he pointed out that in order for the Hawks to really do something tonight, we're going to lock in the defense. Giving up 80 points isn't going to get us a win. We saw that last week.
Yep.
And for a team that consistently scores an average of 80 points, it's going to, I almost say it comes down to defensive free throws tonight.
I would totally agree with you, Brandon. We talked about it. We've been talking about it all night almost. Polk State coming in, their three-pointer percentage is sitting at 345 right now. There's an average there under 1,000, and Hillsborough College's three-point percentage right now sitting at 32.5. So really right in the same margin of error there for both teams with their three-pointers. Now, again, when it comes to free throws, Hillsborough College sitting at 68.4%. So they've got the edge there in those free throws, and it's showing tonight right now.
And that was the 5th free throw made for number 20, John Trulin, this right here in the first half. So when we're talking about how everything is kind of at a premium with it, those free throws are going to become vital. And now it looks like we might have Polk State moving to the line for their first attempts this evening. Or is it just going to be an inbound here?
Looks like an inbound, Brandon.
Perfect. So we're in. Pickoff under the net by number 3, Nico Bavaro. First time calling his name, goes right to number 4, set up on the outside, Nicholas Womack. So now when we're seeing here, I'm seeing a lot more of the communication and less of the hands in the air that we were doing last week when we called the game together. And now we're seeing that we're actually getting into the positions we're supposed to be without having to be told to get into those positions.
Yeah, it's not you go this way, you go this way. It's about being, it's about knowing where you're supposed to be on the court. Hillsborough College has finally figured that out in this game, and it is showing right now. The players know exactly where they're supposed to be. They're running these screens, around the court, trying to get open guys, around the court. It hasn't quite been working as to their plan as they're down here by 5 points early. But again, Brandon, we talked about it, getting into the flow of the game, working on your fundamentals. You do that, you're going to win this game, no doubt.
And
Boom, right there.
Outside, number 20, Mr. John Trulin puts another up there. So as we're taking a look now, 21, that cuts the score, 21-19, 2-point gain. Now, if you're the Hawks, you saw this a lot in the first half of last week when we were going against the Saints from Santa Fe. We saw a lot of the hard drives. We saw a lot of the physicality, both under the rim and while they were working their passes. How do you feel that's matching up to this week with what we're looking at?
Well, Brandon, I feel like, what we've seen so far out of the defense, I think we've seen man, we've seen some zone. When it comes to passes, though, you've got to be able to find those open holes. Now, we haven't really been seeing that all much today because they're taking their shots. Every one of these teams are taking the shots. As you just saw it right there with Polk State College taking a shot. They're putting the score back up 23-19.
Isaiah McCray on that one for the score for Polk State.
But again, we go back to the passes. You've got to be able to know where the open man is. See, look right here, Nicholas Womack. He's got 14 there on the edge. Brian Estime, he's got 3 over there. Nick Bavaro, and Bavaro's got it now.
20,
back to.
And number 20, John Trulin there hanging around the outside. Hard drive. And he puts up for 2. And it looks like we may be taking our second timeout here. So with that second timeout being called, we're going to send it right back over to Mr. Vincent on the sideline for another report. Take it away, Vince.
Hey, welcome back. When we were last left off, we were 14-19. Now we're 21-23, actually. Both teams are chanting defense. You can tell that they can't really seem to defend each other right now. It's kind of rough. Both teams are scoring big points. Number 1 on the Polk County Eagles is hot right now, and so is number 20 and 10 still on Hillsborough College. Be sure to continue to look out for this team. They're going to continue to score heavy. I see this game getting maybe into the 90 points here. We'll have to see how it works out going into this next break. But another thing to look out for is something. I bring it back to you. My bad.
And back here at the desk, when we're taking a look with that report from Vince where he's mentioning both defenses are loud, that's a change even from last week. Last week, the defenses on the Hawk side was very quiet. Didn't really hear much coming from the bench aside from an occasional clap when a point would go in, but it's almost like a reinvigorated team as we move back to the free throw line with Mr. John Trulin getting ready to continue, hopefully, his streak tonight.
Well, Vince, you absolutely nailed it. John Trulin being one of the big scorers, it's probably going to be a big score tonight for Hillsborough College. Again, you mentioned Wild Correa as well for, the Hillsborough College, but you also mentioned Eric Daly, number 1 out of Polk State College. He has been on a hot tear, too, so far tonight, so Vince nailing all 3 of those players on the sideline. And again, we look at it here. Polk State looking, he's got,
hard drive right there, number 22. And when we take a look at when we were talking about it being a physical game, as Mr. Harold Lee drives hard for the Polk State College Eagles with,
wow.
I'd have to check the rosters. Is that number 14?
Brian Estime, yep.
Brian Estime goes up for 2. And now we're within a 1-point ball game.
Ooh.
Up underneath. And one thing that you're really seeing is the way that not only are the Hawks defending down there, but they're pushing hard for the rebounds and trying to get the ball back to give them another opportunity to see what happens with it.
Yeah, that's a big part of the game, Brandon. You know, you have to be able to get those rebounds as soon as it comes off the basket. It's not easy to do. When I watched basketball in my elementary and middle school years, when I watched our team play in the gymnasium over in Riverview, I was able to watch how these players would try and get the ball from underneath the basket. It's so difficult because you got so many bodies of players from both teams underneath the basket trying to get that rebound. And very much injury, it could cause an injury, so you got to be careful when you leap up to get that ball, but it's a crucial part of the game. A nice one there.
Number 4, again, Mr. Nicholas Womack. He is making his presence
in
just
the lead
felt out there going on today as we take the lead for the first time tonight, 22 to 20 or 26 to 25. Hard shot from the outside there by Isaiah McCray, and that's one thing that we were talking about.
Just look at how poised Hillsborough College is right now. Look how they're playing the game of basketball. They look so much more fluid in this first, if you will, second half of the first half, as we go under 10 minutes to go. They just look so much more fluid out there. The coaches are really into it. They're looking, it's not even just head coach Dominic Coleman. Head assistant coaches Jesus Verdejo and Darwin Floyd are also getting into it there, on the sideline. But again, Hillsborough College really looking good right now, Brandon.
And for me, taking a look at it all hard and set up, when I'm really taking a look at everything, it's almost like a reinvigorated team. This is a much different team than the game that you and I called last week. We're slowing down, we're focusing. Everything seems to just kind of be clicking right there as we have Chandler Davis go up. We knew that he was going to be a factor in the game as he's now at 5 points on the evening, helping build the lead now to 29 to 25 over the Eagles from Polk State College. And Polk goes up for another 2, comes back down, closing the gap to 29-27. Hard drive, number 5, a little bit of bumping under there as Ramez Zaid goes up and gets his 2, helping to keep the drive going, trying to put some distance between the Eagles and the Hawks here. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is when I'm taking a look at the way that the Hawks are playing tonight, Ben, when you're watching the rebound, after the Eagles put up a shot, there's at least 3 Hawks under that rim ready to drive it to the other side.
Yeah, we talked about it just recently. It's so crucial to get those rebounds. And again, can't reiterate this enough as Polk State gets one back. Can't reiterate this enough. The rebound is just a crucial point in the game, but Hillsborough College is just looking so poised in all facets of their game right now. Looking very calm, very cool, very collected, and it looks like maybe we possibly might have another timeout here.
And as the coaches get ready to talk to the team, we'll get ready now to send it back over to Vince over there for this 30-second timeout. Mr. Vince, it is yours. Take it away.
Take it away.
Vibes back in the action, and for the first time tonight, the Hawks are in the lead. Eagles seem to lose the defense up a little bit, and they're just not scoring. And let me tell you something. Mr. Bentilli said something absolutely right. The rebounds that the Hillsborough College Hawks are doing are winning this game. Number 4 specifically is putting it all on the line to make sure he's grabbing that basketball and making sure it goes into the other hoop. Now, number 4, number 10, number 20, I would continue to look out for them as they become big players in tonight's game. But for Polk County, we'll see how they look, but it seems like they're slowing down a little bit. So let's see how it goes. Back to you, Mr. BS and Bentilli.
All right, and here at the desk, we're now 13 minutes into the first half. We have had 3 timeouts, and it's almost the same atmosphere, whether you're looking at the Hawks sideline or the Eagles. There's intent. That was missing last week.
Absolutely.
Last week it was kind of, okay, we're kind of losing, but not really. We're close. After that and seeing it, it feels like the coaching staff just said, we're going back to basics. I want good defense. I want the low passes like we talked about. Everything has been timed and calm as we now take it back over to the court and get ready for number 5, Ramez Zaid getting ready to take his first free throw attempts of the evening. And it looks like he will have 2 attempts here.
Yeah, Brandon, you nailed it. It's almost like the coaching staff for Hillsborough College basically said, let's just get back to fundamentals. Let's play some solid, good basketball. No matter what it takes, no matter what you're doing, no matter if it makes you, look a little bit funny out on the court, if you're having to run a certain way or, if you have to change something in order to play better, that is a crucial part, and I think that's exactly what Hillsborough College has done so far tonight.
So Mr. Zaid now goes 1 for 2 on his first appearance on the line. And
whoa!
And as that ball just kind of bounces off the hands of the Eagles, here's something for you, like we were talking about. Tonight, just in the first half, we have 9 points coming from the Hawks sideline that is on free throws. And when you compare that over to the Eagles haven't even gone to the free throw line tonight. So that's 9 uncontested points, helping to build that 32-29 lead.
Yeah, and I think you said it even the first part of the game here. This game is going to come down to free throws and 3-pointers. I honestly think, Brandon, you could be correct if Hillsborough starts getting, lackish on the defensive side of play.
So I want to throw this out real quick. Number 2 has the ball, Mr. Chandler Davis. We talked about him being a playmaker. On the last drive, he scored the points, got down to the other side of the court, made the steal, and then put it back into play on the other side.
That is something
all in the same turn.
That is something they call coast to coast. I learned that from my dad. Shout out Chris Tilley. Something that I learned from my dad there in the terms of basketball. When you go coast to coast like that, it doesn't matter where you get the ball. If you're getting it somewhere on this end and you take it all the way back to the other end and score a layup or a 3-pointer, whatever it might be, that is a coast-to-coast score.
Well, we've got one of those on the board already
Bingo.
Today, and Mr. Chandler Davis. And he was one of those that, when we talked about last week, he really stepped up as he gets another steal, putting it back over to Nicholas Womack, driving back down. So now we're going to see hard block there. He sets it up for 3 just off the rim. But the more you make the Eagles sprint, the more you're making them burn the reserve.
Yep.
We mentioned earlier during the pre-show that the Polk State College Eagles actually have an additional 5-player depth on their bench.
Absolutely.
Which means they can play kind of the conditioning game and force the Hawks to go the distance. Unless you run up under number 10 and he's standing there ready to block you, as Wow Correa has been all over this game so far tonight.
And he is one of 2 of the tallest players on the team, conflicting with Dylan Hall at 6'7". Again, Wild Correa, freshman out of Riverview, Florida. Durant High School, where he got his education from.
So we have our first attempt at a free throw there by number 10, Ethan Simon, for the evening. That one did not find a home on that one, so we'll go to his second throw now. And another one just off. So we're still sitting at 9 uncontested free throw points. And I want to go back to something that Mr. Vince said. He really thought that the defense was going to have to step up in order to keep this game inside where they wanted it to be. And I think that we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen the Hawks really step up in controlling the ball with their passes, controlling, not throwing wild passes. And then when they get under the rim like this, when you've got 3 different Hawks there fighting.
Travel, looked like.
When you got that many Hawks under the net there, really makes the day easier knowing that at some point in a 3-to-1 grab for that ball, you're going to come away with it for a chance to score.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier when you can rely on your defense to make those plays. And, Vince absolutely nailed it. This defense has been playing well, but counter-attacked by this offense, putting up some points. And bingo right there as they get.
But we'll see if that draws a foul. Nope, looks like it'll just be a turnover there.
Maybe did not count for the Hawks.
And that was for number 12, Maniaka Luna. So did they not? I don't think they awarded the points on that one.
I don't believe they did,
They
Brandon.
might have called it a charge and negated it. So one thing that you and I talked about earlier was trying to force the Eagles to shoot from the outside, because we know that the Hawks love their zone defense up underneath. We haven't seen that much of it, especially when you have number 22 and number 11. When they're coming in, both are very tall and they're very physical players up underneath that net. So now it's almost as if the Hawks have to adjust again on the fly to a new threat that they haven't really played so far in the games that we've called together.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the overall flow of the game looks different tonight. And, you know, when you look at both teams, again, we'll go back to the statistic that I mentioned in the pregame show. Polk State averaging 80 points a game, and Vince said it as well, but they're giving up 83. That is causing them to have a record of 4-15 because the games that they have lost this season, they have not lost them by much. You turn that, if you flip that point differential around, and let's say they were giving up 83 points a game but only giving up 80, they could be easily 15-4 right now, but that is not how things stand. And counterattacking with, you know, Hillsborough College, they're averaging 84 points a game. Again, we said it earlier, both teams are on a losing streak. Hillsborough with 3, Polk State with 13-game losing streak. So, again, both these teams really trying to fight for it, as Hillsborough's now only up by 3, Brandon.
And one thing that I just kind of want to let people at home know is we mentioned the taller players. So if we're taking a look at the Polk State Eagles, number 11, Braylon Wells is 6'9". Number 10, Ethan Simon, 6'8". And then when we go down to number 22, Harold Lee, 7 foot tall. Now,
Wow.
if we compare that over to the Hillsborough Hawks side, number 10, Wild Carrera, who we've been talking about all game, 6'7", is your tallest player that you have on the court. You're giving up anywhere from 2 to almost 5 inches every time they drive hard to the net. That's something that the Hawks really haven't had to worry about this season.
Yeah.
Because they've always had kind of the taller, more physical players. Now it's being put back on them.
Yeah, you can absolutely say this is a disadvantage for Hillsborough. You know, if you've got a 7-foot tall guy, which for any viewers at home, see if you can guess which person is 7 foot tall. There's a nice basket there. Nicholas Womack, point guard freshman, 6'1" out of Tampa, goes to Wharton, or went to Wharton High School for his education, Brandon. Oh. Nice basket there from Polk State. Coming up on the 2-minute mark left here in the first half. Again, men's basketball plays 2 halves, 20 minutes each, unlike women's basketball playing 4 quarters with a halftime in between. We've got 2 minutes left to go here in the first half. And you know, I was going to say this earlier. It looked like Hillsborough was getting a little bit shot happy. When they called the timeout, you know, later, I think that may have been addressed, and now they're starting to get back into the fluid play that they were playing. And we might have another timeout here, Brandon.
Looks like we have a timeout, I think was called by Polk State College. We're going to go ahead and toss it to Mr. Vince over there. What you got for us there, sir?
Vibes, like I said, back in the action. We're at 43-36. Hawks are in the lead. And let me tell you why Hawks are in the lead. They are playing as a perfect team. You can tell that they've been working on this game plan against Polk County. The thing about Polk County that I'm seeing here is they have great playmakers, but they aren't working together as a team. I'm seeing steals. I'm seeing balls being thrown out of bounds, and it just seems like they're not working as well together, and that's why Hillsborough College is currently in the lead. If Hillsborough College continues to be a team and continues to work together, I think we could see a very easy win for the Hawks tonight. Give it back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
And back here at the desk, I completely agree with him. When we talk about the way from last week to this week, they're tuned in. Their eyes are confident. This is a different Hawk team than went out and kind of got, I don't want to say gun shy, but they forced them to the outside so much that they started shooting from the outside, and I think that's something that they're worried about today. They're trying to adjust to now not only someone that can shoot threes, but be physical inside the zone against them with those point guards and those drives.
When you start seeing a team try to press what they're doing, it's pretty noticeable. You can kind of see they get a little bit more fidgety. They try and maybe do a little bit too much in one side of the ball or the other, offense or defense. You can definitely see it. I think at one point in this game, Hillsborough was trying to be a little bit too shot happy, trying to get as many points on the board as possible. They don't need to do that. They can still play fundamental basketball with a lead of 43-36 and still be in the lead. Whoa!
Hard play by number 10 as he tries to keep it inbounds, makes a little bit of contact, gets going there. Number 25, Adonis Cristo, is now set up, driving back over, giving the Eagles. There we go again, those hard plays coming down into the net, hard defense up against, draws the out of bounds, brings it back over to the Hawks now.
I think we mentioned his name earlier, Chandler Davis, guard,
Yes.
sophomore, 6'5" out of Tampa, also went to Wharton High School with his teammate Nicholas Womack. We saw him last week just up and down the court. Kind of had a slow start at the beginning of this game, but now is caught in fire going up and down the court with his guys.
He was our coast-to-coaster earlier in
Yep.
the game, and definitely set it up there as we approach 1 minute of play here from Dale Mabry College, from the Dale Mabry College campus of Hillsborough College in Tampa. Woo! I'm gonna get it out there one way or another. We'll figure it out.
Whoa. Oh, no.
And see, this is kind of that thing we were just talking about. Don't force something to happen. You're ahead.
Wow.
You're up by 7. You're under a minute left. Don't force a play. Just let the play happen.
I mean, talk about physicality. That was a hard drive by Hillsborough there.
And number 10, Wild Carrera, was right there in the thick of it, hitting down to the floor and fighting, which is something that we didn't really see that last week. We saw the bump, we saw the pushes, we saw everything like that. But that just drive to finish out the play, reinvigorated, like I said earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. Wild Korea. This will be the last time I say this out of Riverview, Florida. Wild Korea.
So now, just hard off the outside there, looks like it'll be heading over
Free throw, possibly?
to the free throw.
Yep.
Now,
Oh, maybe not.
Now, as we're talking about how important fouls are, right now, it looks like, from what I've been gathering with the notes, that Polk County, or Polk State College, has committed 7 fouls compared to the Hawks 5. But the difference is the points for the Hawks is at 10 unanswered. So out of those fouls that are happening, when you give up 10 uncontested points, that's a pretty big gap that's going to get you going.
Look at this, Brandon. They're trying to preserve their lead right now. Look at the clock down. 8-7. Now they're trying to go for a last-minute shot here. Oh.
Just up and over. 3 seconds left. Uh-oh, looks like we're going to make a push down, up and in, and not there. So as we get ready, going into the half now, 43-36, the teams are beginning to kind of head to the locker room. We're going to send it down to Vince one more time for a halftime report, and then we'll kick it back over here. So take it away, Vince.
Vince Vibes here for the halftime report, and let me tell you, 43-36, Hawks have been in the lead. Trying to add on what I was saying during the last break, Hawks are working together as a team. They are building something, they are making plays, they're making passes, and you can tell they're trying to make things open to get threes, to get, high percentage plays. And you can tell that Polk State, my bad, I called it Polk County last time. Polk State seems to be struggling working together as a team. It seems that individual playmakers who are good are trying to take the ball and try to do it themselves, which isn't working. And hopefully in the halftime, they'll learn some plays to work together as a team. But that's my halftime report here. Hawks are in the lead. Go Hawks. Back to you, BS and Tilly.
Thank you very much for that, Vince. You know what? Every time he goes to a report, he gives us something. And that's what he said kind of about Polk State and the communication and trying to work with each other. Something there is just not clicking for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's timing. I don't know if it's the defense, communication between them, but there's just something that is slightly off that the Hawks have fixed since last week. What you're seeing with Polk State tonight is almost a mere copy of what we saw with the Hawks last week.
Absolutely, yeah. We've been seeing the sort of the same thing with Polk State. It looks like they're trying to get a little bit too shot happy now. Down 43-36 at the half. I think the message to them at halftime is going to be, all right, let's try and calm this down a little bit. Let's see if we can go back to, we've been saying it all night long, fundamentals of the basketball game. See how many points you can just get by going back to the basics. You just got to be able to go back to something that always works, even if you're trying new things, if new things aren't going well, which really they're not right now for Polk State because they're down 43-36. But again, I think the halftime message for Polk State is don't get too shot happy. Calm down. You're only down by, 7 or 8 points. You're going to be okay if you just go back to basics. As for Hillsborough, Brandon, I think maybe the message at halftime is don't let your foot off the gas. You got to be able to keep pressing.
Sure.
You got to be able to keep getting those points. Don't get too, flustered. Don't get too shot happy, but just keep going with the flow of the game because their flow of the game right now, Brandon, is spectacular in all facets of the game.
The other thing for me that really is standing out is the way that the Hawks are passing the ball tonight. Last week, we had our key players. We had our 2-3 players that we knew if we put the ball into their hands, they would make a play. Today, we're taking a look in that first half. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different players have had shots and points or free throws to build up this lead. That's almost the entire roster is putting points on the board. Comparatively, if we take a look over to the Polk State College side, they have half.
Yeah.
There's 4 players that they are counting on. And you're looking at number 25, Adonis Christo. He has been everywhere. Number 22, Harold Lee, your 7-footer. Now, as we're taking a look, we got 10 minutes coming up on 10 minutes on this halftime break. What is it, before we take our own commercial break or our little break, what is it that you're looking for in this second half?
Points. Just points at that. Something that we just need to see more of. Now, don't get too shot happy. Don't try and go push the pedal so hard on offense that you're losing your defensive battles, but just try and stay with your opponent. Mm-hmm. If your opponent gets ahead by 10, 15, 20, that's just going to demoralize you. Mm-hmm. You just got to stay ahead with your opponent, stay with your opponent when it gets to the fourth quarter, and if you're only, down or up by 5, that's when you can press the gas pedal all the way down and try and get the win for either team. It's going to be a good second half.
I would say my final thought before we take our break here, consistency. I want to see the Hawks, because they started this way last week. I need to see them be consistent through this second half, and I would like to see more consistency from Polk State as well with consistently passing and communicating. And with that, we're going to go ahead as the clock approaches close to 10 minutes. We're going to take our own break here, and we will see everybody right back here for tip-off of the second half.
Tom is working on, and he still does not have it right, so we sent back the audio to you. Maybe hopefully we have it back now.
Yeah. I have it in one headset, so on my left side I can hear it. I'm just not getting it through both. It's this.
As long as you can hear yourself.
Yeah. This wasn't plugged in.
It's a mono thing.
This wasn't plugged in. That's why we couldn't hear ourselves. And then he plugged
Now
it in.
you can.
You guys typically can hear yourself?
Oh yeah, we can now. Yeah,
okay.
we just.
Good.
Yeah.
Cable wasn't plugged in.
This case.
It was like.
That's mono, so you're not going to hear myself.
Yeah, but we're fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're hearing.
We doing okay?
And
No, you're doing. I can hear. You're doing really good.
how are the tosses to Vince
really good.
going?
Really
Everything
good. Yeah,
sounds all right?
everything seems to be going smoothly.
Yeah.
Good job, everyone.
Yeah, really good
Good
job.
stuff.
Great first half.
I low-key zoned out half of the time. Okay.
Next week.
Oh my god, guys, the time was 9/11. Say your prayers.
You're coming next week.
I'll come next week.
Have you come back to the table here to tell
so
us.
easy. Yeah, I'm cool.
Everybody has
I need to start taking melatonin. Lily literally said to start shoving melatonin down my throat. Like she literally,
Okay,
we were
yeah.
on call,
Happy
and
to
I
help.
was like,
And Eli did it before, so.
Jill's so like, well, if you're going to public school, you gotta wake up at like 6 o'clock. And I was like, 6 o'clock? That's normally the time I go to sleep.
Oh, I wish.
Like not 6 at night, like 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Never mind. I get up at like 4 a.m. So.
I go to sleep at 6 in the morning, and then get like 2 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted, right? Like you can see the eye bags under my eye. So tempted.
Get in position. I'm going to bring you a cushion next week because this thing changes lives.
Okay, I appreciate that.
This thing changes lives. All right, we got lights on.
7 point.
I hear Mike.
7 point lead.
And here we are back at the Dale Mabry campus
Excuse me.
with
No
the
cough button
going
here.
into the second half as we are coming up on the 1 minute mark. Nice little break there. Get up, stretch the legs. And while we have this time, we are 90 seconds from the tip-off for a second half. I just want to do a quick little shout out as we sit here. In case you guys don't know, everything that you guys are seeing and hearing and that is being brought to you is brought to you by the radio and TV program here at Hillsborough College. Everything from the camera work to the microphones and adjusting the sound, everything is brought to you by students and professors that are just doing it really for the love of the game. Want to make sure we're bringing out the best product that we can each and every time for the Hawk Sports. So to all of our camera operators, to our sideline correspondent, Mr. Vince Vibes, just want to say thank you here from the broadcast team, and also to the professors for giving us the opportunity to do this week in, week out, and learn this.
Much appreciation for everybody here, and the opportunities that have been presented to all of us here at Hillsborough Hawk TV. It's just been extraordinary. And when I first founded my TV show in Riverview High School, when we did the sports show, I didn't really know what to expect, and it turned into such a huge program. And Shark TV just turned into, Riverview High School, we call it Shark TV, and it just turned into a huge program. And this is no different. Hawk TV is a huge program, and we really enjoy, being around all these people. And our professors are just, have the utmost respect for everything here. We have the utmost respect for them, and this is just such a wonderful program, and I'm really thankful to be a part of it. And Brandon, it looks like we're getting ready to gear up again.
Yeah, and once we're getting ready to kick off this second half here, and right off the bat, number 25, we talked about him a little earlier, Adonis Cristo, real fast, real just making the holes open up, trying to force those outside insides. And it looks like the Hawks have gone ahead. Hard steal, number 20, just off of his fingertips. Couldn't quite bring it in for the break. But those were those plays that were missing last week. That's where we were talking about earlier, where we talked about effort and discipline.
Yeah.
Seeing that going into the first half, yes, it went out of bounds, but it sets a tone to your opponent that I'm coming the same way. I'm not taking my foot off the gas, as you said earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to be able, and especially in this point in the game, the shot clock expires there. St. Polk State College unable to get a shot, but we were talking about it earlier. You got to be able to keep your foot on the gas. Again, Hillsborough's only up 43-36, and that score's been the same for quite some time now. But again, you look at it and you just have to be able to. Little potential foul there.
No, they wanted to reset the shot clock.
Oh,
from what I heard the officials saying.
Yeah,
So,
don't let off the gas. Keep the pedal to the metal here.
and this is something that we didn't really see from the Hawks last week, was trying to maintain that clock and trying to, we said it earlier tonight when we were talking, waiting for the play to unfold versus trying to force a play that isn't there.
Yeah, and you just have to, patience is key in this game. You really have to watch what you're doing, and a three-pointer there goes in and out, a little toilet bowl, and it's rejected by the rim of the basket. But again, you just have to really focus on how good these players are playing. What exactly are they focused on, in each aspect of the game? As Hillsborough, and it looks like we got number 25.
Adonis Cristo, we've talked about him. He's one of those, he's out there leading, and he's challenging on that play, because it looked like as he was going out of bounds, he tried to bring it in, and it bounced off of a Hawk. I believe it was number 20 who was defending him, and now there's a little conversation between number 25 and the official Number 25 doesn't really like that call because it bounced off of a player and then came back out. There it is. Number 20, Mr. John Trollen, as we get going. First points of the half there go to him at 40 with a three-pointer, bringing it to 46 to 36. Now we have a 10-point game. The defense has really, as Vince talked about earlier, the Hawks defense has been where it needs to be. Right now, it's about, I would say, maintaining. If we can maintain the pressure, if we can maintain these hard plays as we see fighting for the ball, and it's that kind of like little run right there where I don't think the Hawks quite get ready for one of those hard spurts to go down. And we talked about it last week, not a lackadaisical, but a comfortable. They're not expecting someone to outpace them that way, so they're a little slower off the response.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to be able to judge how the speed of the game is going to go. Now, we've already seen it here, just starting here in the second half as the Hawks lead 46-37, up by 9. When you're looking at how large of a lead they have, it's 9 points. That's 3 scores. That's 3 3-pointers. Now, is it going to happen in all at once? Absolutely not. But as Polk State gets a free throw back there, is it all going to happen at once? No. But you've got to be able to, have that poise, have that mentality to be able to get those baskets and be able to score those points that are given to you by the defense and be able to get some points on get some more points on the board.
And here's a little something for you, Mr. Tilley. Number 5 putting up those points, Isaiah McCray. We've called his names a few times tonight as the Hawks put up another 3. Right there, that was actually those 2 that he made there. That brings the Eagles to 2-4 for the night. 2 made on 4 attempts.
I believe that's 50%.
At 50% compared to where we mentioned earlier how the Hawks had 10 points in free throws.
Yep.
So now 48-40. Hawks are they're still pushing, but I think we're starting to see maybe the defense begin to fatigue a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is going to be where we talked about earlier. We talked about earlier today. What's it going to take for the conditioning with the benches and the rotations, and are they going to be able to maintain that pace as number 4, Nicholas Womack, begins to make his way to the free throw line for his first throws of the evening from there. A quick little substitution happening as Trey Jackson, number 21, comes in and takes his spot on the court. And 1-for-1 now for Mr. Womack as we begin. So now 4 minutes in, we've got both of the benches are really starting to come alive, and it's getting pretty loud there coming through. Number 5 off of a back leg, puts it up, almost comes down with it. Isaiah McCray. He's going to be one of those that I have a feeling through the rest of the game, they're going to try to put the ball in his hands as many times as they can to make a play begin to start happening.
Yeah, that looked like a little bit of a misstep there for Hillsborough. Nicholas Womack didn't look like he knew where he was going. Oh!
Hard passing just outside, getting ready to bring it in. And this is a little bit different this week. Now, if you were to take a look at the bench for the Hawks, coaches are animated, coaches are loud, they're getting vocal, they're really starting to come alive. And as we're getting ready, the fans here coming in on a frigid night here in the Bay Area. And as we're taking a look, did you hear that we're expecting that there's a chance for snow flurries this weekend?
Brandon,
here in Tampa?
I was just about to bring that up. I just read something actually during the break from the National Weather Service here located in Tampa Bay. The National Weather Service says that on late Saturday night, early Sunday morning around 1 a.m., there is a 20% chance of precipitation of flurries, as that was a flurry there from.
That shot came from Ybor City and found its way down the 275 for that basket. He drove that through. Fantastic shot. Frigid night here in Tampa, but here inside, the fans are starting to come alive. You got both benches coming alive. Look at that defense there. Number 24, Jimmy Cammy, is coming in and sets up shop down under there.
Timeout, Brandon.
And as we take this timeout, let's kick it over again to Mr. Vincent and take it away, sir.
And Vince Vibes back after halftime, and let me tell you, the Hawks seem to be getting into a groove. They're up they're up 8 points against Polk State, and Polk State seems to have figured out their defense, figured out the rhythm a little bit, but will it be enough to win this game down 8? We will see. So let me tell you about the Hawks for a second, though. I love their intensity. They're yelling from the sideline. They're yelling at the team. They're yelling at the players, not because they want to lose. It's because they're yelling at them because they want to win, and they know how important this game is to them. Back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
And you know what? I'm gonna say again, Mr. Vince is right. During that timeout, we had a quick shot of the bench, and when you took a look at the eyes of the players there, again, we said it earlier, intense. There is an intensity there. There is something that they are listening for to make sure that they understand their assignments. And when we're going in now, 5 minutes in the second half, we were anticipating kind of what might be, I would say, a lower type scoring game. Oh. And it's holding true for there as number 21 of the Eagles, Trey Jackson, comes in and puts down 3 points of his own there in the second half.
Yeah, you just got to be able to look at what they're going to have to do, to try and claw their way back. And they are, Brandon. It's 51-46 now. You can kind of start to see a little bit of panic from Hillsborough College, a little bit of this eerie feeling that their defense is starting to slack, and just like that, Brandon.
Number 21, again, Mr. Trey Jackson putting up his second 3 in the half right now, cutting that lead down to 2.
I was just getting to it. It looks like Hillsborough is starting to get a little bit of slack on that defense, and the offense is starting to get a little bit gashed trying to put up all the points on the board. And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. They're taking those shots, and they're not executing them. And when you start having to do that, you're going to not be able to get those points. And nice.
Nice bat away there by number 33, Adrian North Jr.
Wow.
He goes up, and now take a look here. We all know number 2, Chandler Davis. He's an all-star out there for the Hawks, and he was almost by himself on that defensive stand.
That was an incredible drive right there. You talk about the pass getting deflected by Polk State College, and then going all the way, we talked about it coast to coast. It looked like it was going to be an easy 2-pointer. They took a shot for the 3, and it was bouncing around, and the rebound couldn't quite get there. And Polk State came up empty, but what a drive. The physicality started to take a toll, Brandon.
So when we get ready on the next timeout, I'm going to be interested to hear Mr. Vince's commentary to see if he's noticing anything about the rotations coming out and the Hawks looking tired, because there may be something like that as we're watching the game, we may not be seeing those substitutions. So that'll be something to take a look at, because we knew going into this game tonight that Polk State College was going to have the depth of the bench and have that a chance to get fresher players in. And it seems like number 1 on a hard breakaway, he goes up. Eric Daly going on hard with that tie game, 51-51. And now listen to the way that this is coming alive right here. You have the Polk State College, they're getting louder, they're getting motivated. And then you have the Hawks on defense trying to motivate. Number one
Oh, my
again. He
goodness.
sets up. Now that's going into there for three. And we're going to take a timeout, it looks like. 54-51. Let's send it over to Vince, and let's see what he's seeing right now.
Vince Vibes, still first time on the job, and this has been shocking. Polk State seems to have gotten the rhythm, gotten the groove, and they have taken the lead. They have a 3-point lead over the Hawks, and let me tell you, they have found it. That dunk by number 5 was insane. Polk State, if they continue to put up points like this, Hillsborough College Hawks might be in for a bad one tonight, folks. Back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
We talked about it last week, Ben. What is that motivating moment? Every game has one moment that you can go back to and you can see that the switch gets flipped to that on position. And if you take a look, there's a great shot of the crowd. Even they were like in that last 15 seconds of gameplay.
They were in it.
They were in it, and you can. I don't even know. I don't have the words to describe how that just in an instant flipped over so fast.
I am absolutely speechless, Brandon. I was just, it felt like I was in the middle of what was just an amazing drive to the basket by Polk State College. And then all of a sudden, as you see the crowd there getting a little antsy, Hillsborough College fans starting to think maybe this is starting to slip away. But again, I'm speechless at just how that happened so quickly. Isaiah McCray with just an unbelievable dunk, and then you go back, and of course Nicholas Womack trying to take a three, didn't convert it, so they took it, Polk State took it all the way back, and Eric Daly put up the three-pointer to take the lead at 54-51.
And
this is
look
interesting.
who's leading that defense at the top of the arch. Look who's right there in their faces, forcing them to take these shots. Now, this is where the Hawks have to be careful. When the Hawks feel like they are off kilter, that's when they really start trying to force the issue.
They're pressing.
And they press
They're
so much
pressing a lot.
harder. Whereas instead of, again,
Whoa.
good pass to the outside, set up and off the backboard, rebounded. Number 10 brings it in. Now this is kind of, there we go. Mr. Chandler Davis putting up a three, tie game, 54-54, and now the Hawk bench is starting to come alive, and you're starting to see the Polk State College, they're kind of sitting back. Now, number 1, Mr. Daly, setting up a little bit out, good screen there, forcing it into the inside, puts it up and just off, rebounded by Wild Carrera. And off the fingers of number 12, Manyaka Luma. Looks like it'll be a quick turnover. And again, heading over for another timeout. So, rapid fire. Mr. Vince, what do you got for us?
Man, Vince Vibes back here, and it is tied. Let me tell you, this is the best game that I've seen in a while from Hillsborough College. Both teams want to win, and it shows. Polk State has been proving that they can put up points, and honestly, the defense hasn't been terrible, but the defense on both sides have been kind of shaky, and we need to see a little bit of an increase from both teams, but I think that if the Hawks continue to play well, continue to shoot well, continue to work as a team, right now I think they're a little cold. I think they're feeling the outside, but we'll see how it goes. Back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
One thing I want to add on, thank you for that from the sideline there, Mr. Vince. One thing I want to add on right now is when we're watching this, you're talking about a team from Polk State College that puts up 80 points a game, and we're almost halfway through the second half, and we haven't even broken 60 yet. So defenses on both sides are really operating the way that we expected them to.
Yeah.
But I don't think we were expecting such a low-scoring game compared to the last week.
Yeah, absolutely not. I was expecting both offenses to be firing, and I was, expecting us to maybe hit that century point total. Oh, there it is from Nicholas Womack there, a three-pointer. I was expecting a high-scoring game. Vince and I were talking about it in the pregame. We're expecting a big, high-scoring game, but we also expected a bit of a tussle between these two teams. It's definitely been a tussle, but again, you just mentioned it. Now the Hawks only up by 3, 57-54 after that three-pointer from Nicholas Womack.
Hard
And-
press
oh,
up
he missed
under
it.
the net. Comes down 21, comes down, puts it back up. Looks like a little bit of too much contact under the net there. Now, this is where we have to be careful, because when we saw this last week, once they got into this little bit of not even a rut, once they started getting more physical, drawing more fouls, this is where that percentage of those throws is going to come into play. And are we going to give up a game again just by giving away free throws?
Just by giving up what the defense is giving you.
Yes.
And that's something you got to focus about too. Is are you taking what the defense is giving you? Are you taking those points? Are you trying to do too much? Are you trying to press? I don't know, Brandon, as Tony Romo would say.
Look how far back the Polk State College is pushing the Hawks to keep that in the outside as they're trying to force them to the inside. And they have completely cut that off with those two very tall guards that they have setting up there. You can't really push that. So you're forced to go to the outside. And if you go to the outside, you want to know that that's your zone.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen, aside from you've had John Trulin with the three-pointers, Nicholas Womack, and Chandler Davis, but other than that, all of their points have come from free throws or layups or 2 points today.
Yeah, and that's a key too. It doesn't matter how you score those points; it's as if you score them or not.
Yeah,
and clearly it shows.
But we all know that up underneath the net is one of those zones. Looks like we got tangled up under the net a little bit there, and I think number 2, I think that was Chandler Davis, who went down, got tangled up as he was trying to come down for a rebound. Looks to be shaking his ankle and checking on it, so we'll keep an eye on that through. Now here's something for you. We're getting ready for the inbound. Look at this defense lined up right here with the Hawks. The man-to-man pressed right there, and they're all eyes on whoever they're squared up against, and they're closing the gap, trying to make sure that there's nothing open all over that. Good pass to the underside, goes up, comes down.
Foul.
Looks like number 24, Jimmy Cammy, and number 10 were right there with each other.
Well, when all else fails, you just go to Wild Correa, 6'7", one of the 2 tallest members of this Hillsborough College team. When all else fails, just go to the tallest guy you have and just see if he can make a play. You know, that's one of the things you should do.
But here's what's crazy when you mention that as he lines up for his first free throw attempt. Here's what's crazy: the guy that he's squaring up against, as you said, number 24, Jimmy Cammy, is 6'9". I can get behind being 10 foot tall and bulletproof, but if he's got you by 2 inches, man, that's a hard forearm coming across your nose if you're getting blocked.
And especially if you're 6'7", 2 gigantic guys trying to fight for a basketball. I can only imagine. I mean, I'm only 5'10", so I can't talk. And 5'10" and cannot run worth anything. So
hard up under again.
Travel.
Here we go. Travel number 10. And you can see that we're really starting to go to Wild more as he heads back down, taking up on the defense. For those hard internal pushes, it's really going to him at this point to make him go in and kind of chip away at the guards. Lined up outside, number 21. 2-point game, 58-56 in favor of the Hillsborough College Hawks. Just under 10 minutes as we're counting through. And the way we're starting to see, I think, more of a zone from the Polk State College Eagles, aside from like an inbound where they're trying to, as we had Ramez Zaid come in for 2 there. And it's almost like Polk State, we mentioned last week how I believe it was Santa Fe, the Saints, how they almost adopted the fluidity of the defense
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
They came in and they said, hey, we're going to, if man-to-man's not working, block, put 4 guys in there, make them earn those points. If they start making those, get back to man-to-man. I think you're really seeing that start to happen as we take a timeout here. And with this timeout, we're going to take it over to Vince and see what he's been seeing this time around. Go
Now,
ahead,
the
Vince.
Hawks are just narrowly beating the Polk State Eagles. Now, let me tell you, they have both been on a rhythm, going back and forth, and this is what we've been seeing here, which we kind of figured looking at the game. They're already back into the action. We'll have to see how it goes. Back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
When we're talking about the action and we're talking about this, I saw something on the monitor during that timeout. This was the first timeout in this game where everybody was standing. Coach was standing.
That's a good point.
He didn't have his knee board out. He had everybody standing on both sides. So now with a game that's within 4 points, 9 minutes is a lot of basketball. A lot can happen in 9 minutes. You can't even afford to lose the focus for a short time by sitting down to where your mind could wander.
Well, when both teams are standing, that just shows you how much each of these teams want this game. They really want to win this game, and it just really, it's great for competitiveness. But again, got to just think about, I mean, I've been thinking about it this whole game. It's going to, you said it was going to come down to free throws and three-pointers. Brandon, I think it's going to come down to who plays the hardest, who plays the most physical, who plays the most aggressive. Who's on defense more? Who's on offense more? All those aspects are going to come down to who is going to win this game, and I think it's going to be by 3 or less points.
The danger that comes, especially as the Hawks have kind of shown before, the more aggressive they play, the more they lose their discipline.
Right.
They start grabbing
Getting
onto
antsy,
jerseys.
yep.
They start getting that adrenaline starts
Pressure.
flowing. In my opinion, do what you've been doing. You've got the time, you've got the players, you've got the setup.
And you've got the lead, most importantly.
Just trust the system. Trust what you've been coached to do. Trust that your teammates are there. And this is something we've talked about. I kind of sound like we're badgering the point. Trust your teammates.
Yeah,
your
trust your
teammates are going to
teammates.
be there to back you up as Mr. Womack now heads to the line.
Focus on your playmakers, Brandon. We said it last week. Who are your biggest playmakers in this game? I already know 2. Chandler Davis, Nicholas Womack. Those are the 2 players that have got to be able to get the ball more. You've got to be able to get the ball somehow. Rely on your playmakers. Rely on your teammates to be able to score those points. And you're exactly right. If you're Hillsborough, don't change what you're doing. Be focused on the fundamentals of the game. You've got the lead. You don't need to change anything. Now, if they somehow start slipping again, like we've been seeing that happens sometimes, if they start slipping again, then you might need to change something. There's a big three-pointer there by number 1, Eric Daly. Again, Hillsborough might need to change something, but again, no need to right now as they're ahead by 4.
62-58. You're at 8 minutes, approaching 8 minutes on the clock. Like you said, right now, everything from here on out is take the shots that you know you can make. And if you're not comfortable with the shot, run the clock down.
Yeah.
Pass the ball around, run that clock down, preserve the lead that you have, because for the first time in this half and in this game, the Hawks are now out fouling the Polk State College.
Yeah.
In this half, we have 5 fouls to the Hawks versus 3 coming off of the Polk State College side. So if you're not careful with that and you keep putting up those fouls, those free throws are going to come into play again.
Yeah. Who's going to be the better bird tonight, the Hawks or the Eagles? It's going to come down to the wire, Brandon. Head by 2 now for the Hawks.
I would love to hard pick off, intercepted under there by Trey Jackson, setting up. Now, Polk State knows that if they wanted to, they could drive hard to that inside, but look what they're doing. They're setting up their screens. They're setting up around, waiting for something to come to them.
Yep, exactly, and they still have got that patience, and again, there's a nice one there, nice layup. They've still got that patience, but with a little bit over 7 minutes, right at the 7-minute mark now, remaining in this game, around 6 minutes left. Up by 4 are the Hawks. really need to start paying attention to how poised are they going to be. How poised are both teams going to be when it comes down to this? We've got another timeout here. Why don't we send it over to Vince Vibes on the sideline? Vince, what do you got for us?
It's Vince Vibes, and it's also thriller night, because this game has been a showdown. 64-60. They keep going back and forth. We'll see who has to win, but both teams have been on a roll on offense. They both want to score fast. They both want to win. They both want to take advantage of what they have. And back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
So as we're taking a look here, coming off of that, take a look at the benches. We just had a clip of taking a look at the difference now between what happened. Now we're seeing a little bit more of the sitting down. The knee board comes back out. We're getting out of the calm down phase and saying, tighten this up. As you take a look at the Hawks bench here, just take a look at the eyes. You're in the lead, 64-60. There's under 7 minutes left, and just look at some of their eyes right there.
Yep, they're locked in.
They're locked in,
focused.
and you just—that's what you want to see coming off of your players. You're tired, you're getting exhausted, but these are the games that get you to that next level. Do you have that extra gear that you can shift into as an athlete? Can you endure the hard blocks, the hard checks? Can you endure having your pass picked off and turned down? Those moments are what's going to be kind of, in my mind, the definitive kind of changing point of what happens here tonight.
How good are they going to be able to adapt to those turnovers? How good are they going to be able to adapt to those mistakes that might come about, from both teams, not just Polk State, but Hillsborough too. We've seen the slip-ups. We've seen that it can happen. As now Hillsborough's only up by 3. We've seen what can happen, in these last few minutes. Again, just under 7 minutes left to go in the game now. A 3-point lead for the Hawks. Now a 2-point lead. Who is going to play the best?
So number 1 there, Eric Daly going to the line. He is now 2 for 4 for the evening. But remember, you just said it to me about 2 minutes ago. You didn't think that it was going to be the free throws or the three-pointers. I would challenge and say I think those free throws are really starting to make a difference in this game here tonight.
I would start agreeing with you there. Again, we talk about it. How crucial are these points going to end up being when it gets to 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes? Because again, the clock, it's starting to this game's starting to slow down a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've been under the 7-minute mark now for about 5 minutes. So we're a little bit, waiting for things to happen. But again, we talk about it, and it's just the game is slowing down. The flow of the game is starting to get back into a rhythm again. Not just for Polk State, but for Hillsborough too. It's a dogfight out there.
It's definitely going to come down to the wire tonight as number 12, Manyaka Luma, goes 2 for 2 on his first appearance there at the free throw line tonight. And as I'm taking a look, there's a lot of similarities between last week when we called the doubleheader together versus tonight here. But I think for me, good. Pass deflection there, right off the hands of number 12 as he tries to keep it in play, and it just goes outside there with a turnover now back over. This is what I kind of talked about last week, though. Did you see him going into the defense?
Yep.
Not lackadaisical, but casual. It's just the bounce in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those types of plays are what has been plaguing the Hawks going through, because they sometimes will get, I guess the phrase would be, they get eaten up speed-wise when they start those breakaways.
And when they get eaten up speed-wise, they get lost in, those players on offense get lost in the coverage. So they're open whenever they're on the court. And then when you start to see stuff like this happen, the flow of the game starts to get back into play. How well are these players going to play on offense? How well are they going to get up and down the court in these final 5 or so minutes that we have left in the game? As Hillsborough gets one back there again, up by 4 again. So it's crucial. It's just the flow of the game. I can't tell you enough, Brandon, how big it is going to be, especially in these final 5 minutes. As a drainer 3-pointer there by number 5, Isaiah McCray of Polk State. And it looks like we've got maybe another foul here, Brandon. Some confusion here. Yep.
Let's take a look. And
Looks like John Trulin from Hillsborough not too thrilled with whatever call was made there, and it looks like possibly some free throws, Brandon. And all of a sudden, scoreboard says
60,
Hawks are up by 1. Wow.
68, 67. We talk about it, and where are we going? We're looking at the Hawks fouling 7 times this half versus the Polk State College fouling 4 times. And when you're being out-fouled like that, and those points come easy, because Polk State has got some people that, let's see, you have number 5, Isaiah McCray. He is 2 for 2 from the line. Number 21, Trey Jackson. He is 2 for 2 from the line. And number 1, Eric Daly, is 2 for 2 from the line tonight.
Yeah, those free throws.
So
Whoa. Another foul?
I looked down for just a second, and you mentioned that we've been under 7 minutes for 10 minutes now. We're at the almost the 5-minute mark as we get set going through at a 1-point game. And number 24, Jimmy Cammy. We've been calling him quite a few times tonight as he's beginning to really make an impact on the court and in the game, especially when he sets up under the net. It's like watching old school Shaquille O'Neal under there, just reaching up and blocking any layup attempts or anything like that. And with that, we are now tie game. And I can see you over on the sideline. Can you imagine what Mr. Vince Vibes is feeling over there right now? He's got to be like, man, this is the Wild West out here.
I can see it from here. He's got a big smile on his face, and he knows this game is going to come down to the wire. This is, again, he said it was one of the best games he's ever seen, this year. I think it is the best game.
Jimmy Cammy goes to 2-2 from the line, giving the visiting Eagles their first lead of the second half. Number 5 now beginning to make a push. Now here's what we were talking about earlier. Take a look at that zone under the rim, and they're forcing them. As soon as someone tries to come inside, they bottleneck that at 3 defenders or 4 defenders, forcing them to stay to the outside until they start lining up on the man coverage.
Yeah, Polk State is not worried at all about the outside shots that Hillsborough College is taking because they're not converting them. They're not able to convert those 3-pointers. They're not worried at all. That's why they're playing zone. If they were worried about them, they'd be playing man, as now they take the lead 71-68. Number 1 there for Polk State College, Eric Daly. We've said his name so many times tonight. Again, we just talk about it. How big are these points going to come down to? If you start pressing, you start trying to take those shots, and you're not converting them, then you've got to go back to what was working. Don't try and press the issue. Now you're down by 3, and you're going to have to get back with just under 4 minutes to play.
And I had told Mrs. Scott that I was going to try in the new year. One of my resolutions was to be a better person, so I'm going to try not to say I told you so about the 3 points and the free throws. And with this timeout, we're going to send it over to Vince over there and get his feedback on this.
Vince Vibes, getting gray hairs on my beard, I feel. This game was a thriller, and now it's turned into the never-ending story. It seems that they're playing slow ball, they're slowing down, making sure that the time runs out. But make sure that both teams are both playing for the win, obviously. But we see here that the Eagles are in the lead. They've taken the lead. Hillsborough College Hawks have slightly taken down their defense, and we'll have to see them step up if they want to win this game.
So as we're looking at this, Ben, we're taking a look. We've got the benches here. What is it for you that you're seeing coming off of these benches, and what is it in the last 3 minutes and 49 seconds of a 3-point game are you saying to your team in this huddle? I've
got to be honest. If it's Hillsborough, I'm looking at schemes now. I'm looking at what are we going to have to do to score these points? Obviously, three-pointers are not working, so we have to change something. What is that change going to be? Is it going to be where we are on the court? Is it going to be how we run up and down the court? Is it going to be, do we play man on defense? Do we play zone on defense? Where are we at throughout the court? That's something that they're probably going to have to, it's hopefully something they talked about during the little time out there. Now, as for Polk State College, what are they going to have to do to try and take home this victory leading up by 3 with just under 4 minutes to play? I think they got to keep pressing the issue. Don't change a thing that they're doing, but at the same time, they're not worried one bit about the Hawks taking three-pointer shots. And it's clear and obvious because they're playing that zone. People underneath the basket to stop the insiders to going in to try and get a layup in. They're working the inside of the court. They're not working the outside of the court, leaving those guys open to try and take those shots and force the issue, which Hillsborough has not been able to convert on. And that's going to be something that's going to be key if the Hawks want to win this game. They've got to be able to convert some of those shots.
If I'm the Polk State College Eagles, I'm forcing them to keep shooting from the outside.
100%.
If I'm the Hawks, I'm trying to find a way to breach that inside lane. Right now, you've got, let's see there, number 21, Trey Jackson is right there under the net. You've got, who else was over there? I think number 24, Jimmy Cammy. When you're talking about 21 and 24, you're talking about 6'5", 6'9", setting up under there.
Guys.
And that's a hard press when you're 6 foot even, trying to get in there on that lane.
Yep, tall guys, trying to get in that lane. And we talked about it earlier in the show. We were praising how tall Wild Correa was at 6'7", but again, now as the Hawks are only down by 1 there with a 2-pointer by Chandler Davis, we were talking about how tall Wild Correa was, but the guy covering him was 6'9", 2 inches taller than he is. So
Yep.
Height is definitely a factor here for this game, and especially for offensive defensive schemes. Who is going to be on who, especially if Polk State College is going to be in man coverage.
Under
Another
3
foul.
minutes. Under 3 minutes. 1-point game. Turnover. We're going to get the inbound coming in to Polk State College.
Another timeout. Maybe?
Another timeout, and let's kick it over to Vince. And with this going on, take it away, Vince.
The Eagles are narrowly in the lead, 71-70 against the Hawks. And the Hawks, I know they want this win bad, but it just seems they don't have the steam and momentum that the Eagles currently have. We'll have to keep going as this game goes along. The game has really slowed down, but we'll see how it goes. Back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
Now, Ben, he said it, that it was not quite as up-tempo as it was. I think now we're really starting to see the effects of that depth of the bench, being able to rotate in your fresh players, get your performers off, let them catch a breath, get a drink, then get back onto the court. When I'm taking a look at that, you're seeing the red faces on the court. You can see the Hawks kind of moving a little bit slower. All of that, you've got to be able to gut check yourself. In football, the 2-minute drill. Play your heart out for 2 minutes because the game comes down to these moments right here.
Exactly, yeah, and it's exactly what's going to happen. Points are at a premium here. Whoa, that's a great fake, and they convert. Number 23 there for Polk State College, Josh Pitts, the freshman out of Orlando, the Masters Academy where he got his education. Oh, Brandon, that was a crucial three-pointer. Or excuse me, that was a 2-pointer. It looked like it was a 3. So the Hawks still only down by 1 score. They got to see what they can do here.
They've got to find an open lane. They've got to get with each other.
Down by 1.
And who went up with that? Was that number 4, Nicholas Womack on that one?
Yes.
1-point game. Here we go, number 23, Josh Pitts. He was the one that just said that. Oh, hard steal right there. Chandler Davis on a breakaway.
Foul. Free throws. Looking like, boy, hard hit there for Chandler Davis. He has just been banged up tonight, but he's fighting
you see
through
him
it.
wincing a little bit on that ankle because remember, he did go up for that rebound.
He did.
Came down, tangled up with an Eagle. So we said that we were curious to see kind of how he bounced back from that as he now heads up, looks like for the first time tonight.
Tie game, Brandon. 73 apiece. We talked. You nailed it before. Fouls in this game, or this half alone. Hillsborough at 8. Polk State at 5. Now Hillsborough's got the lead, 74-73. 1 point left. 1 point gain there by Hillsborough. And again, now with just a minute and a half left, Brandon, gonna come down to the wire.
And this is the kind of stuff that when you're a sophomore coming.
Oh my!
As the bench comes alive over there, number 5 for Isaiah McCray, as he not only gets the shot off, but now is going to the free throw line on top of it.
Boy, if we had the ability of replay, Chandler Davis just took a brutal shot to McCray there as he took that shot for a three-pointer, made it. Now they're up by 3 again, 77-74 with just under a minute and a half left. Oh my goodness, this is the best finish we're gonna have all year, Brandon.
This is if this was like a Universal movie.
Whoa!
If this was a movie produced by Universal Studios, this is the part where the coach starts saying in the timeout, "Do you want to live forever?" This is where you step up. Chandler Davis right there. Obviously, he wants to go down and got a timeout called. And with that timeout, I'm pulling my hair out. My beard is gray. Vince, how are you holding up over there on the sideline?
This is a game of who wants it more. The game is tied 77-77, and both teams are playing hard. They're taking nasty hits. Chandler Davis took a nasty hit, as Mr. Tilley was saying. They both want this win. Like I said, they're both in a losing streak, and they cannot afford to lose another game. Back to you, Mr. BS and Tilley.
Now, Ben, one thing that we talked about during the pregame, we really haven't talked about much tonight, was the loss last week. And how was Coach Coleman going to respond? Losing on a 6-game win streak here at home. We didn't know if he was going to tighten down, batten the hatches, or what he was going to do. I think our questions are answered.
Yeah.
He came in and said that's not going to happen again. And you're looking at a team coming from Polk State averaging 80 points. You got to give this defense credit to hold them to under 80 going into the last minute of play in regulation.
Well, you mentioned exactly the quit nugget, and I was going to go here in the final minute as we round it down here at Dale Mabry Gymnasium as a miss there from number 21, Trey Jackson. You know, the Eagles average 80 points per game, but they give up 83. So if everything goes under control here and it goes according to plan, Hillsborough is going to get this win with the final seconds left. And look how poised they are now, Brandon.
35 seconds.
Look how poised they are. Ramez Zayed is just out there on the court, just not.
He knows he's got time. He's got 10 seconds on the shot clock. He's looking. Hard pass, Chandler Davis breaking it to the inside. Up underneath and deflected and
oh my goodness.
And in. Chandler Davis comes down with the rebound, puts up another 2 points. We're hitting our feet here at the broadcast desk. This is insanity.
10 seconds left.
10 seconds left. 2-point game. Goes up, comes down. Chandler Davis with the rebound.
Scoreboard says tied. I thought they took the lead there.
I did too. There should be 2 on the board. Let's take a look.
Referees we're giving the signals too. We think it should be 2 points there
and
for
you can
Hillsborough.
See in the shot,
and they've added it.
We're on our feet here in the auditorium. They put it on. 2-point game. 5 seconds left.
And Hillsborough's got a free throw.
And we're going to the free throw line, Mr. Chandler Davis, who is 2 for 2 so far tonight.
Now what are they doing? An inbound, maybe? Yeah, maybe an inbound. They're not doing a free throw. Okay.
Looked like we're on our feet.
Brandon, right here. Okay, this is a crucial moment here for Ramez Zayed. He's got to get this ball out, and they've just got to hold it.
Let's take a look.
Gets it out.
There it is.
So that was crucial. They fouled. So So that's an absolute tactic that Polk State College put there. They fouled, got them to the free throw line. That way, if they miss, they can get the rebound and have a shot with 4.5 seconds left to go.
The thing that I'm looking at, though, is you put a foul on number 2, who's Chandler Davis. He's one of our, definite guys, and he's 2 for 2 from the line tonight. So you have the opportunity to blow this up to a 4-point game.
3-point lead now. The best that Polk State College can do is tie. And if Chandler Davis can convert this free throw, might seal the deal, Brandon.
We will see what happens right here. There it is, 81-77.
Don't foul.
Don't let it go. Here we go from outside. There it is. And ladies and gentlemen, that is an 81-77 score, closing out the game here at the Dale Mabry campus between Polk State College and the Hillsborough College Hawks. As we get going through, I'm almost winded, as if I played a game.
I am out of breath.
That was so amazing, as both teams now. You mentioned, and this was your nugget all night, you're talking about a team that averages 80 points a game, and then, we get outscored by 83. They held them to 77. Look how many points it was. It was a 4-point game. We wondered if that was going to be kind of what we would be looking at with they wondered if that was what we were going to be looking at, that score there. So now let's kick it over to Vince, and it looks like we have a end of game interview set up for him there.
Now, Nicholas Womack, you and your team just won a thriller game. That was amazing. Back and forth, back and forth. How did you do it?
We just had to go out there and execute. We got to do the things that we usually do. Before the game, we prepared. Practice starts with good practice and stuff like that. We just came out and executed. That's really it. Yeah. Playing hard. That's really it.
And, on the court during the game, I saw you give words of inspiration to your teammates. You were giving them, a little bit of more, aggressive behavior, but that's all for the win, right? How does that make a win or make a team better?
It's really just speaking life into my teammates, giving them confidence. If they don't have no confidence, then they can't get going. And I know what they can do, so I'm just speaking life into them so that way everything will come out what they have inside of them.
Yeah. And thank you for the interview, and thank you for an amazing win. Yes, sir. That has been Hawk TV Sports. Back to you, Mr. BS and Tilly.
Ben, I'm still trying to find the words for how exciting a game that was. And, we got him on the camera over there, little waves to everybody. So to all of our viewers who are tuned in on YouTube tonight, watching live, thank you for hanging out with us as we get ready. We're going to go ahead and I think we're going to get ready to say goodbye and to take it to that Arctic air outside and head to the house. So thank you so much for joining us here tonight. And again, keep an eye on social media. We'll be posting when we go live again for all of your Hawk Sports here. I'm Brandon Scott.
I'm Ben Tilley.
And we will say thank you and good night. We will see you guys at the next game.